everyone, it's Jillian and welcome to the Sexy Survivor, the place where we talk all things ageless, elegant, and we help you find your beautiful self. Today's topic is about how your beauty routine has changed after treatment due to the changes that we go through once treatment is complete. And we are so thrilled to have today one of our fellow warriors, a good friend of ours, the beautiful Jody. Hi! I'm so happy you're here.
I'm happy to be here.
Thanks for coming over to play with us today.
Thanks for having me.
We love it. So Jody, with breast cancer, we all go through different types of treatment, but I feel like we all kind of come out the other side with very similar issues. So I didn't have to go through the trauma of a double mastectomy, but you did.
Correct.
Right, and then they switched out your hormones and your birth control changed, right, and all these different things.
Yes.
So what did all those changes cause in your skin, even today as a survivor?
So in my skin, I developed dark spots all under my eyes, around my mouth a little bit, which I hadn't had before. So I didn't even know what they were from, and then I realized it was hormonal. Boom. Also, my skin was very dry. It got really dry and a lack of color. It just looked dull and dead. You know, and I really never had that before. Right. It always looked bright, right? Yes,
you have natural good. You have this beautiful olive complexion. It probably always looks just brighter.
It looked dead, dull.
I get it. So I think for me too, even though I had a different treatment path, I feel like I was aged on a more rapid level. So my texture changed, my dullness, it's like bam, dull, and everything went south. So what we want to do today is play a little bit and give you some tips and tricks that can really help you just feel brighter and better, even through survivorship, because we do face different challenges. And one of the things that you said when we were talking was that you always start with your power item.
Right.
What is your, I love this, I think it's brilliant. What's your power item?
My red lip.
That's the one.
Yes.
That's your
red
go-to.
lip, a burgundy lip, something really that's powerful that says, here I am.
I love that. And I think that's so brilliant. Mine is my black eyeliner. It always has been. So I think before you even start, when you're going to play along with us today, pick your one item, that one item that makes you feel good, and then we're going to center everything else around it. Let's go. So really, you know, basically based on the fact that our skin gets really dull and super dehydrated, but we still have oil that pops through from hot flashes and things like that, I always start with a good oil. This is the Julie Hewett organic camellia oil. I think it's phenomenal, so I always do a drop of that. But then you should also always have on hand something to help control the oil. This is Volition Oil Control Mattifying Mist. So there's a few things you definitely want to have on hand for your skincare, and those two are great things to start. So the first thing we want to do is brighten the skin, and since we tend to absorb color, what I want to do is lightly layer. So of course you're going to start with your SPF. That is a must. Then what I want you to do is use a primer. A primer is going to lock everything into place and create that beautiful smooth layer. So the next thing we want to do is lay down a sheer layer of color underneath the foundation. I'm going to use a little liquid bronzer on Jody. I'm going to use the Tanaka Radiant Bronzer to lay down that beautiful layer of color. Now we want to move to the under eye. It's so important when you have melasma or any hyperpigmentation that you use a color corrector. And honestly, peach works amazing on just about every skin tone. It's just whether you use a lighter peach or a deeper peach. So on Jody, because she has a beautiful olive skin, I'm actually going to go more to a lighter peach tone first. So then what we want to do is we want to stipple. You never want to blend things out because you literally will start layering and washing them off your face. So always use stipple. You can use a sponge, you can brush, you can use your fingers. I'm a huge fan of using your fingertips. So now that we have the peach corrector on, that's going to do all the heavy lifting. I want to do a skin tone correct concealer. Anything too light is actually going to accent any darkness around the eye, and we just want to flush it out. And you really don't need too much concealer now that the peach has done all the heavy lifting for you. So now that we look at Jody's skin, we can see it has a boost of radiance from the liquid bronzer. The salmon concealer knocked out the discoloration, and the skin tone correct concealer just made everything look flawless. So we're actually going to use very little foundation. Now once you're done patting it all in, take a nice big fluffy brush. And what we want to do is just press around to make everything nice and even and bring it down into the neck. We're not wiping hard, we're just doing very soft strokes. And this will make sure nothing looks cakey and is ready for powder. Now the next thing I want to do is I do want to lock in her concealer because this is where Jody gets a little bit darker, but I don't want to use a heavy powder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a matte highlighter, nothing with radiance in it. It should always be matte, and I'm going to very lightly dust it underneath her eyes. Then when the concealer, your foundation, and the under color has been laid down nice and soft and perfectly, and you've set that under eye, I want you to set everything with a mild dusting of powder. Take the biggest brush you can find, very soft, make sure that you tap it off, and just super light all over so nothing looks cakey. So what we want to do now is to add color back into the skin to address one of the issues that so many of us have after treatment, and that is dullness. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to combine two different things. So what I want you to do is I want you to take a matte bronzer. Just choose any matte bronzer that you love, and then pick a blush that you love. Whatever tone do you want? Do you someone that likes a coral blush or a pink blush, or someone that likes even something with a little bit of a rose tone in it? Which one do you go to?
Let's go there.
Rose. I knew she would go for rose because she's an olive skin and they look so good in rose colors. So what we want to do is you're actually going to take your matte bronzer, and I will use the bombshell color, and then I'm going to take my rose color, and I'm going to take a blush brush, and I'm going to mix the two together. We're not going to put them on separately, we're actually going to do together. So what we want to do is we want to go from the cheek in soft circles out. By mixing together your blush and your bronzer, this is going to lift the skin and create brightness from having to use a highlighter. Okay, so now that Jody's skin looks hydrated, it looks bright, it looks natural, you don't see any hyperpigmentation on it, we want to move to her power item. And her power item is her red lip. Today we use Besame Red Velvet, which I love. I think it's such a gorgeous, stunning color on her. And if you take a look at the skin before we even move to the eyes, she looks bright, she looks hydrated, there is no way she looks uneven, there is no way she looks dull, and there is no way you would know that this gorgeous woman has gone through any kind of adversity. She looks absolutely glowing and stunning with minimal makeup, just the right things that are gonna get her out the door looking just bright, polished, and fresh. So now that Jody has her power red lip on and her skin looks flawless and bright, really the eye should be minimal. She came in with a beautiful thin black eyeliner on and just a little bit of mascara, and her brows look phenomenal. She has them filled in softly, and I want to add a skin tone, a soft light cream eyeshadow, just to even out and smooth out the lid, to also make the eye look brighter, to counteract any darkness that she does get throughout the day. So perfect. Her skin is hydrated. It's got beautiful bright color to it. She has her power lip, which is her thing, which helps her get out the door and feel fabulous. Eyes are super clean. Now all we have to do is lock it in for the day, because you were saying hot flashes and sweats.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. It's awful.
I know. It's like your makeup looks so fresh, and an hour later you're like, I'm burning. I know. So there's a few ways to go. Just use a good mist that helps control the oil and lock it in for the rest of the day. All right, so you look gorgeous, stunning as ever. You really didn't need me for that. You are so beautiful. But do you have any questions?
I do. So when I go out and I have a hot flash, what do I do?
Okay, right. They're so inopportune, right? So one of the things that we were doing that you should always do if you know you're gonna have chronic hot flashes is you've gotta wear long wear makeup. Number one, everything has to be not so shiny. Pull back from those heavy highlighters. Keep everything matte. As matte as you can without being flat, which is what we did. But then the other thing that I do is I actually go to CVS or Walgreens or Rite Aid, and I buy, or you can get them on Amazon smile for beautiful self, is these tiny little travel bottles. And I carry my oil controlling mist in these little tiny bottles. So if you're out and you're having a flash and you have to give it that minute to pass, right? Just spray this back on, and or spray this on with a little tiny bottle. You give it a minute, and then take a little powder puff with you. You can get them again on Amazon. Little puffs. Put it in a little plastic container, and don't put powder or anything on it. Just press the oil, the mattifying spray into the skin, and it kind of shifts everything back into place. for sure, because I know that's an issue for so many
It
of
is
us.
an issue.
I know, my ears turned purple like 16 times while we were playing that we had to edit. So anyway, so thank you for coming. I love you.
I love
You are the best. We love
So
her.
much fun.
And as always, leave your comments, your questions. Thank you so much for stopping by. And remember, stay strong, stay positive, and we will see you soon.